Hello, my name is Matt. Welcome to Unbearable 73. Today I'm just this is a science update vlog, I guess you would say. I'm just going to point out some scientific, engineering, and technical articles that interest me as of April 29th, 2022. I have a book somewhere. It's a child progress tracking book that my aunt did with me when I was a kid. When I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a fireman. When I was 6 years old, I wanted to be a plumber or something like that. When I was 7 years old, I wanted to become a physicist, and that dream kind of stuck with me in a way it still does. Never achieved it, though it still lingers in the back of my head to get a BS in physics before I die. Right now, I work in information technology. I'm a systems analyst. It's an enjoyable career, and I've had periods where my interest in science, engineering, and technology drop off. But I kind of always circle back. Maybe a couple months a year I don't follow up with it, but then the rest of the year I get back into reading some articles about it. You know, and I've always been finding it fascinating the universe, understanding it, and knowing how humans can take advantage of it, which is engineering and technology. You know. So in this episode's articles, first up from SciTechDaily, we have an article about the James Webb Telescope completing its alignment phase. The James Webb Telescope was launched on Christmas Day in 2021. As of right now, it's still in its initialization phase and has just completed its alignment phase of that initialization. The James Webb Space Telescope has 18 mirror segments, which took months of careful remote telemetry-based work to get into proper alignment. That's what got completed today. While these 7 phases of alignment were occurring for the mirrors, hundreds of other instruments were being tested, initialized, and calibrated. Next up is the completion of all the instrumentation and installation and calibration. I think it takes a couple more months and the thing's fully operational. The James Webb Space Telescope's primary test is infrared astronomy, and it's the most powerful telescope we've ever launched into space. It's already surpassed several initial projections. They initially thought it would be a 5-year mission that they would have to do significant maintenance on it or it would become not as useful. But now they're estimating they could have a 20-year lifespan, and the precision of instruments are higher than they projected as well. The James Webb Space Telescope, it interests me because when I was younger, I read something that roughly went that due to our atmosphere, most of the actual information we can gain from telescopes was distorted or blocked. So space telescopes are first that orbit our planet are our first big step in gaining that information, which can go a long way in terms of physics and astronomy and even chemistry and biology of kind of answering some questions or helping us discover some new things even. So next up, we have an article from SciTechDaily about understanding magnetic explosions in space. This one caught my attention because I'm watching a show called Yakimov's S245, and I'm doing episode-by-episode reviews. If you're interested in look on my Unbearable 73 channel, which this is, you can find those. In that show, a solar event of some sort is the cause of an extinction level event in the show. CMEs, which stands for coronal mass ejections, and other solar events also play a profound effect on how our real atmosphere functions and regularly affect our lives. The planet has evolved several defense-like mechanisms against these sort of solar events: the magnetic field of the Earth, the Van Allen radiation belts, the depths of the oceans, and there's more. Basically, our planet's been bombarded since the beginning from the sun, and it's sort of evolved ways of dealing with that, and just to continue what it's doing, so to speak. It's third. Here's totally shifting tones. The third article I'm giving you guys. It's pretty fascinating though. Despite us using Pepto Bismol for over 100 years, we've never really understood the chemical structure of the main compound in it. Scientists at Stockholm University in Sweden have determined the chemical structure of bismuth subsilicylate, the active ingredient in Pepto Bismol. The article I linked below at Chemistry World provides more details about the study. Note that the Chemistry World limits the number of free reads for its articles unless you register, which is also a free thing. So you'll get at least one article for free, which will be this one. I found the article on Real Clear Science. Now let's head over to Science News. I found this article noting that all the bases in DNA and RNA have now been found in meteorites. For reference, the term bases refers to compounds such as guanine and cytosine that form pairs in DNA and RNA chains. So it's adenine to thymine and guanine to cytosine and AT and GC, and your genes, so to speak, are formed and encoded that way on your DNA by alternating pairs of those chemicals. Finding such materials in meteorites basically means that the elements necessary to make DNA and RNA are present in space materials. It's a pretty fascinating read. I mean, who would have thought, for example, that changing from acids to cold water, which was a milder extraction technique, would allow for more sensitive samples to be extracted. All in all, it's a pretty fascinating read. Next up, our other well-known space telescope, the first one, I believe, or the first known one, the Hubble, which has long since been repaired repeatedly, and it keeps on trucking, with all the repairs done to it and enhancements, I might add. We find an article about the largest megacomet ever seen being inbound to the inner solar system. The inner solar system are the planets inside Jupiter. For those who don't necessarily get the reference, the larger gas giants act kind of like a screening cloud and distort or pull space objects that are traveling through that are less than their mass to them, and basically kind of filter out stuff from getting into the inner solar system. The comet's Bernardinelli-Bernstein has a designation C 2014 UN 271, has a diameter of around 129 kilometers, which makes it the largest cometary nucleus ever recorded. This makes it about 50 times larger than the average cometary core. It's traveling at about 35,000 kilometers per hour. It will only get close to about 1.6 trillion kilometers, however, so it's not like it's going to hit us or anything. But it'll reach that in 2031. It's just fascinating because it's the biggest one. Next up, an article from Space.com rather. SpaceX is launching 53 more Starlink satellites today at 5:27 Eastern Daylight Time. I mean, odds are by the time anyone watches this, it's going to be past, but it's interesting. Hopefully, a couple people will see this and maybe see a cool rocket launch. Starlink will have about 2,400 satellites once that's done, with many more to come, as proves the most promising revolutionary ISP continues to grow. Personally, I always favor fiber for internet access. However, with the massive latency that Starlink has accomplished, I can't get fiber when I move in the future to a new apartment or house or whatever. I'd rather just have Starlink and not deal with regular cable lines or DSL or any of that anymore. The latency on Starlink and that's the big improvement. Starlink, in terms of raw speeds, although Elon has plans to dramatically increase it, it's not that you get incredible speeds out of Starlink compared to, say, fiber or even cable modem or whatever, but because the latency is so low and because the way the internet works, it multitasks, so you have your data flow going out and going in will have multiple streams in it, so to speak, and when the latency is low, that gets updated faster, so you even with less bandwidth, you'll get more information, so to speak. And finally, there's a little strange one for you. Let's put that away. Over on Elon Musk's Twitter feed, he posted a picture of his Raptor 2 rocket engine at Starbase, which is capable of producing over 500,000 pounds of force. And I looked at them and said, wait a minute, why do they look like Daleks? My first glance, I was like, wait, did Elon just build Daleks? A little humor and the report on it. I think it's kind of funny. Well, that's it for this roundup. Hope you guys enjoyed these articles and maybe learned something. We'll have to keep exercising our brains, or they'll basically rot, because as we get older, they fade from disuse. Comment down below if you have any questions for me about this video or any of the articles. I'll see if I can find some stuff for you. Please share your thoughts. Share this video if you enjoyed it. Like if you like. Dislike if you dislike. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. My name is Matt. This has been Unbearable 73. Have a nice day. I am out of here.